Good day, my name is Kate, and welcome to our Satisfaction Verification, Session 2. Let's get down to business, and start with satisfaction verification immediately. All the 8 candidates are exactly the same as you discussed in Section 1, and all the sessions will be using the same candidates, in the same order. As we continue with the same candidates, in the same order as in the Achievement Verification Study, we found that the candidate's satisfaction IIS was highly underactivated, and he is portraying, through his satisfaction GBS, that he is a whole lot more satisfied than what he really feels. Notice that his satisfaction IIS is realistically correct, as it is in harmony with his job satisfaction, both of which are highly underactivated. We can safely say the reason that this candidate does not have optimal job satisfaction is due to the fact that he feels he is treated unequally. He further tells us that his relationship with his colleagues are underactivated, however, that is not in concert with his general relationships. Summarizing candidate 1, we find that he definitely is unhappy in his job. Feeling that he is treated unequally can be of a cultural prejudice nature within the organization. Before moving on to candidate 2, we need to note that this candidate also has a family relationship problem, which we need to keep in mind. Moving on to candidate 2, it seems that the candidate is functioning optimally in this segment. We also notice the same in our achievement verification, as explained previously. Please make careful note that this seems to be too good to be true, so there is a probability it is not true. Let us keep tracking candidate 2, shall we? Moving on with candidate 3, we find that the satisfaction IIS is highly underactivated. We need to ask ourselves, is this dissatisfaction originating from the organization or from relationships? Although this candidate has underactivated relationships across the board, they are in harmony with satisfaction GBS. So it is unlikely that his dissatisfaction IIS is not caused by his relationships, but by his lack of job security and his feelings of not being treated equally. Adding to this equation is the fact that this candidate has passed the clinical cutoff point in job security, therefore, he is no longer able to rationalize effectively. Summarizing candidate 3, we can clearly see the inconsistencies between job satisfaction and job security, as well as the fact that he feels that he is discriminated against. We need to unravel the differences between intentional manipulation or simply being out of touch with reality. This candidate should be declared dangerous, as his behavior could be unpredictable, and therefore we should continue looking for inconsistent behavior as we continue. We will do this as we continue with the next session. Notice that candidate 4 continues with his impression management, as we detected in our previous lecture. The candidate's satisfaction IIS is inconsistent with all the other scores, proving that this candidate should be eliminated from any further rational discussion. Moving forward with candidate 5, whom we found to be manipulating in the previous achievement verification study, we find that this candidate has almost the same scenario as candidate 1, in that his satisfaction IIS, job satisfaction, and equality are all highly underactivated. We also notice that his interpersonal skills are inconsistent with his relationships with colleagues. Further, his relationship with partner is inconsistent with his family relationships. Concluding with candidate 5, we know he has a definite problem at work due to not being treated equally, therefore we would need to investigate this candidate a lot further. Moving on to candidate 6, we find that his satisfaction IIS is underactivated, yet his job satisfaction has a score of 95. According to this candidate, we notice that all the constructs that would affect his satisfaction IIS to be optimal. Despite the fact that he has relatively good relationships, of all things, he has bad relationships with his friend. The reality is that they cannot be your friends if you have bad relationships with them, unless maybe he has no friends at all. Unfortunately, this candidate is both inconsistent and using impression management. I recall, we had the same thing in our previous study, therefore this candidate is dishonest. Moving on to candidate 7, we find that both his satisfaction IIS and GBS are highly underactivated. On the other hand, his job satisfaction, job security and equality are optimal. We need to ask ourselves, why is he so dissatisfied, when where he spends most of his day, which is at work, he is very satisfied. We notice that his relationships with colleagues and general relationships are in harmony with job satisfaction. However, his relationship with partner and family where he stays is inconsistent and cannot cause the highly underactivated level of satisfaction IIS. Further, we notice that he has a bad relationship with his friends. The reality of that is that he would have no friends at all. This would still not account for his low level of satisfaction IIS, therefore we can come to no other conclusion but to realize this candidate is using impression management. Lastly, let us take a look at candidate 8. The first thing that we notice is that the candidate has highly underactivated stress IIS. Notwithstanding the fact that he has a reasonable job satisfaction when comparing his satisfaction IIS, this candidate feels that he is not treated equally and has little job satisfaction. Notice that the satisfaction GBS is in harmony with job security and equality. However, this is not consistent with his job satisfaction. Notice the difference between relationship with partner and relationship with family. This is inconsistent. I suppose one could argue that he may not be living with his partner. If that was the case, his relationship with partner score would be highly underactivated. One needs to wonder why candidate 8, candidate 7 and candidate 3 all have very underactivated relationships with friends. There is little doubt that candidate 8 has used impression management, and we need to compare him in all other construct areas. So, keep in touch as we move on to section 3 in the next session. Goodbye for now.